do 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 do. Lancel, thank you for asking. The princess actually had a fever. She had 102 on Friday. She had 102 on Saturday. She woke up Sunday morning and said, I feel fine, and had no temperature, and has had no temperature today. So she had a 2-day fever or whatever, but that's about how long it took her to get over the flu last time. The wife and I are both still sitting around wondering, we're obviously going to get whatever it is, and how many months we're going to drag with it. So we know we had one flu strain. We'll wait and see if this is a different one. Do 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 do. Yes, she's feeling much better after a day of little bit of snuggling with Dad. Again, if she had something, I'm getting it. Oh crap, I gotta get, hold on. I saw your message. Let me go look and see while you're one of only 20 people here. It's practically alone. Oh, Skaggy, hold on. Let's see. Chat bot. There we go. That's what I need. Do 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 do. Just waiting. All right, hold on. Chatbot's coming up. All right, still chatting with work. Again, reminder, I'm at work. Do 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 do. And since he's probably not on here yet, I'll say it before he gets on here. Elgarion is freaking amazing. Ravlox, also freaking amazing. Together, amazing squared. Seriously, as stressed and overworked as I am right now, having those guys on board has been an absolute lifesaver. This release has been a lot of frustrating craziness going on. So the QA server, as you saw, is down. It's actually the QA server is fine. Something has happened to the QA client build that has made it so it cannot get a connection. And lovely Unity, despite doing all the things I'm supposed to do to be able to debug a live client, is not letting me debug the live client. Actually, it lets me debug it, and then it just hangs like every 10 seconds. So I can't actually debug it. But anyways, I'm still working on it. I just instrumented it again to try and track down where it is, where we're failing to get the connection, but we're failing to get the connection. And if you see me dabbing my eyes occasionally, that is not because I'm super sad about a team losing football game yesterday. That is actually because I'm still having crazy allergies. My eyes are just like randomly swelling up, dripping fluids. It's disgusting. But Soda Tior is not disgusting. Thank you for the bits. Let's see. Do. And we are having our team meeting tomorrow, so obviously not streaming tomorrow. I will probably stream on Wednesday. Thursday is lockdown, and then we'll have our stream on Friday. I don't think we have a theme yet. Do you guys have any ideas for a theme? If so, feel free to put them in the question theme request. Star was babbling on again about how he wants to have another fishing contest. But we'll see. I think we always have enough to talk about, so. I am reddish. Let me see how reddish I look. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's probably a little bit just the lighting in here. But you can actually see my hand on my face. But again, I'm having like massive allergy problems right now. See? I didn't get any sun. Just wait until my eyes do their thing and my eyes get crazy and swollen and red. Alright, enough complaining about me and my body falling apart due to allergies in Texas. Hey, thank you very much, Christ Pallid. So I've got a ton of questions here that I'm just going to start going down. These are old questions. If you guys have something you want to talk about, I can tell you right now the Bard stuff still looks like it's going to happen. I'm still running into a few problems with it, but mostly my time, sadly, has been spent on the QA build failing. And this is not something where I'm like, I could just be like, whatever, it's QA, who cares? The concern is that it's some change that was made that is completely inobvious but breaking the build. But the part that makes it even more crazy and makes me think that's not it. Oh, and then if that's it, then we could migrate to live and then we can't do a live build. That wouldn't be great. In fact, that'd be the opposite of great. So I'm trying to track down exactly what went on. But it's one of these things where it is hours of time between each build, poking at it, trying to debug it. So that was my whole weekend. If you guys saw, the QA build went down, the QA server. That was actually a coincidence that I took the QA server down and it didn't come back up. It did come back up. And again, this is just to give you an idea of how wacky it is. In our dev client, we can choose which server we connect to when we are connecting. And I can go to the live server and I can connect to QA just fine. Or the live build. I can go to the dev build and connect to it just fine. From the QA build, it can't connect. I did a full, clean sync of dev and QA, verified that the actual data that goes into them is identical, did a clean build, everything clean, and still spit out a broken build. So again, I'm trying to debug what's going on there. Now I've got it building on a totally different machine. Oh, and here's the other fun one. If I do it on my home machine, just doing a build of what's on QA, that works fine as well. Yeah, it's that awesome. I know. But anyway, sadly, that is what's taking up a lot of my time. I will have some more balanced stuff in, though, for our 74 and Bard's first couple tiers. We'll see what other stuff makes it. But I, as always, will work through right up until the live release and get a few more patches out after that. Oh, and we are currently internally, let's see if the final answer came up. I think we're going to end up doing, there had been the decision to not do Valentine's Day 2020 stuff. Apparently we put out a Valentine's Day card every year. And this is where it's also great having guys on the team who actually, are big players of the game and have played it for a long time and have a great finger on the pulse of the community. They both jumped in and basically said, that's a bad idea. We should do 2020 versions of stuff. So now we're talking about how to do that. And I'm also pushing for, we didn't do 2019 versions of the Christmas stuff. And I heard from a lot of people on that they wanted their 2019 versions. They had like 2018s and 2017s, and they were expecting their collection to go on 2016s, and then we didn't do a 2019. Broke the chain. To quote Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks, you must never break the chain. Yeah, I did that with a straight face. So anyway, if you see some weird thing happen where we start selling 2019 Christmas stuff in the store for like a month or two, then we will, that's why. We don't want to break Trying not to break the chain. Another thing that's being talked about internally. Let me see if I can show the. Of course, I was just told not to show this, which of course means I'm going to show it. One second. Hold on, I'm getting something set up. It'll be worth it, though. Trust me. Oh, and you know what else would be worth it is if I got a prize going. That's not what I want. I want that thing. We noticed Star jumped in to yell at us because some people, apparently the holidays, slackers, whatever reason, whatever excuse, we missed out on updating the vault items. So the vault items expired and we don't have new vault items up there. So that's being worked on right now. How about if we do a fine oak bookshelves, full and half 8-pack. And I will remove the heritage flag from them. Where's that thing? Giveaways. Fine oak bookshelves. Reset. Okay, now you guys can raffle it up. Let me see if the other thing's going on. All right, let me do my display capture thing. Stretch that sucker out to full screen. So we had mentioned the totally excessive Lord of the Isle house was actually in game. And hopefully we're going to get it out for R74. All the doors have been hooked up. I just dropped this in as a prefab, so hopefully the doors are going to work here. So anyways, this is the first time this has been shown. Damon put a lot of work in on optimizing. I've got some more feedback for him, though, just in terms of how he chops stuff up. He went the route that a lot of people think is the way you should always go. You should always shoot for as many or as few draw calls as possible. So you got to batch stuff up and get it all together. But when you get into an object that's this big and you start making it a single object, then you start applying things like you want to have shadows and stuff on it. You start getting into problems with your vert counts getting crazy high because shadows touching part of it will do. So I'm gonna get him to chop it up a little bit. And this was like one wing of it. Again, lots of rooms, lots of windows. Then 100 deco limit for the whole house. I think that's a great idea. That's exactly what we should do. Only allowed to have 3 lights. Oh, something up here. I've not actually walked through this either. This is my first time walking through it. I think I'll give him feedback. That texture right there is a little stretched. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can go fix that. I bet I can fix that. Gonna fix that right now for him so he doesn't have to. Whoops. Let's see, that's going to be a white marble probably. Probably that right there. Yeah, no, maybe that's it. Maybe just needs to change that UV up. Because it's a 512. I think he just got the UVs wrong on it. Alright, well maybe I won't be able to fix it for him right now. Back to the tour. We will get that fixed though again. Got a couple, a little over a week. Whoa, and he's got 2 sets of doors, identical doors there. It's a nice feature. Yo dog, I heard you like doors. Alright, so that is like this, that part there. Oh, and so there's like a whole nother wing over there I haven't been to. It's like a big greenhouse thing. Alright, I'll have to get over there. Oh, got another one with double doors. Oh, you're not going to let me go down there yet? Alright. And I'm sure you guys are adding questions while I'm walking through the house. I'm also sure they're probably silly. Like, that must have a really high electric bill. Oh, the double doors. It's that cool of a house. How do I get into the greenhouse? I guess that's only on the first floor. Oh, maybe I can get in here. It's part of the greenhouse. And I think this does give like a greenhouse bonus. I guess there's a floor underneath here. Again, I'm exploring this for the first time too. Coming there. Anyways, getting pretty darn close. It should be out for this release. It looks like it's mostly hooked up and doors hooked up. Some of them hooked up twice. So many rooms. Be a fabulous place to have like a PvP tournament or a hide and seek tournament. Oh, I hear Maxine's upset about something. Maxine's home today for the schools are closed for MLK Day. So anyways, it'll keep your deco friends busy for just a little while. Okay, let's see if I can get that off and back over here. Wipe the tears from my eyes again. Huge plantations of garlic. So one of the things I saw with that one that... oh, and thank you, Mangar and Rada Torment for your raids, and John Marcus for some bits. And Christ Pallid for a resub. One of the things I saw with it is so big that even on a castle lot... Oh, and Valacor for a follow. It doesn't leave room for castle for doing like walls around it. In case you're wondering how big a castle lot is, it's like that plus 10 feet on each side. You could do walls around it, but the walls would collide with... Like, the walls would basically be right here. Be a little weird. But now that he's got this set done in a way that actually works for us and for Unity stuff in general, it will probably do some other smaller sizes. We're going to be using some of this. It's going to be for the deco style for episode 2, some of the new houses that'll be coming in, some of the new buildings that'll be coming in. But anyways, it's getting close. Soon, I say. Oh, you guys couldn't see. I was running on that screen again. Let's see. You guys got any questions in there yet? If not, I'm going back. Hey, thank you, Catherine Rose. Catherine Rose, were you here to see the house thing? Of course, you should be giving feedback, but that's a greenhouse thing up there, and then it's set up pretty nicely. And right now, I think this was the front of the lot. Yeah, this was the front. So the entrance is you walk down these two things, so it leaves a lot, like, you'll have room to do outside decorations, but the outside decorations will, be down in this courtyard mostly, because it doesn't leave much lot or room on the lot. And there's a couple of big rooms, and then the lower floors are kind of divided up. Obviously some nice balcony stuff. And Catherine Rose is just thinking about all the different PvP tournaments she could have here. Yeah, can you just imagine having putting out some Dark Star banner stuff and having to claim the banner, capture the flag type game in here, put like one flag over here and another flag over there. Yeah. Anyways, time for some questions. Sean Butts, any idea when the banker and town crier by the docks in Crossroads might get fixed? They're very friendly at the moment. Sounds rather odd. I'm not sure what the actual problem is with them. Don't you like friendly? Maybe they're talking too much? Yeah, that's the other thing that makes me sad about the QA build being junk right now, is I'm trying to get that fixed. Again, I've got a build going right now that may fix it, but we just got the dialogue stuff live, so we're not getting any feedback on that stuff, and we want feedback on the dialogue, the player-created dialogue tree stuff. Oh, they're stacked on top of each other, hard to access the bank. Whoops. Is it possible, Anakito asks, is it possible to add a filter on craft window to show us only the recipes we got materials for? Toggle would also do like mini games. Yeah, that's that may be a simpler fix than some of the other stuff for it, just for making it more friendly. And hopefully you guys have been seeing that when I type in this thing over here and I take a second to type it down, that means I'm actually going to look into fixing it. So, like soon rather than later. Again, right now, all my focus is going to be on bards and balance until the release goes live. With just every couple hours, got to try something new with the QA build to see if I can figure out what's going on with it. But I will have time to get some of these other fixes in. Toggle filter for recipe only what I have ingredients for. Nymph Nightshade, will we ever get pugilism weapons? So I hadn't looked at pugilism weapons yet. There's one pugilism weapon out there right now, the lead gloves, I think. But the other thing I was looking at is having pugilism affect your fist spell damage. So Earth Fist, Ice Fist, Flame Fist. Let's see. Dart and Obscura, will we be able to schedule our own NPCs? Ooh, trying to think how much trouble that would be. I guess the challenge with that is you have to come up with a way to set like I want you here and I want you there. You know, here's where you sleep. We'd have to have some way to do that. That would be a little bit of work for that. Nope. And thank you very much. Again, thank you, Catherine Rose and T. Oral. And thank you, Diego Moss, for the 4X resub and John Marcus for the bits. Pugilism. Let's see. Yeah, it's one of those things on Tabula Rasa that I thought was fun. As they started doing, they had fist fights in Tabula Rasa where basically two guys would get in an arena and fist fight until one guy dropped. It's really tough to kill people with your fist right now. Will we be able to schedule our own NPCs? Yeah, so that was the whole, like, we got to figure out a way to do it. That was from Dart and Obscuro. Durnhelm, 1975. And also, I'm on, by the way, if I seem like I'm semi-dazed, it's because my allergy's so bad. Am I less red now? Can you tell? I'm still look pretty red. But I'm taking diphenhydramine, Benadryl, which makes me incredibly sleepy, but also somewhat dazed. So if I seem confused, it's not because I'm old or something like that. It's probably a little because I'm old. It's mostly because I'm on drugs. Durnhelm, 1975. Is there a plan to add voices to the NPCs? So this is one we've talked about, like lots of different ways to do it. We don't feel we have the talent to do it internally and the bandwidth to do it. This is one that we could do similar to the NPC maps. That we can hook up a system so that guys can read dialogue and we can let you guys do it. But it's one of those things we got to get into the quality control stuff. A while back, I am Arca, sent me his test tape. Yeah. Might be better than nothing, but us adding voices is unlikely. There's a chance, we keep talking about adding voices to like main characters on the Quest episode 2 storyline. Right now, we think we want to get the episode 2 storyline the way we roll. You know, we can always go back and add them later, but we don't have any talent lined up right now. Maybe we can get Felicia Day to come in and do some. Huh? What do you say, Felicia? Maybe not. Let's see. Arturus Magnus, Z of Silverdale. Oh, you want your undead to rise from the dead or from the grave at night only? Now, we could have deco spawners that only happen. We can set schedules on those. Those are actually a spawner, and the spawn technology already has that built in, so we can set it so it only spawns like seasonal or only spawns at night during certain hours. Arturus Magnus, no news on multiple bind spots. Not yet. That's one of those where, again, we feel like we give you guys so many different ways to teleport around. It hadn't been a priority. I know it's not a huge task, but it will require a little bit of work. And we just already, like I said, felt like we had so many different things. Mighty Ewok. I think that's it. The Mighty Ewok. When will pugilism get some more love? Again, weapons. That's, man, I got 2 questions here on pugilism and somebody cheering me on for pugilism. Hey, Christ Pallid, thanks. Yeah, Felicia is actually a backer of the game. We actually have a few celebrity backers. She's one of my favorites and is a good friend of Richard's and has helped out. I actually have her personal email because I was in a conversation with her and Richard on something. I don't like to bother people. Didn't want to pressure her. She's got a lot going on. House of Mangar putting me on the spot here. Will the Earth Mage changes we talked about be going in R74? Strength giving spell crit. Earthquakes having slightly bigger radius. Stone Fist having a chance to stun. Total rework of Torpor. The total rework of Torpor won't happen. The Earthquakes will be fixed. The Stone Fist having a chance to stun. Again, that was it. purely an oversight. Well, I just missed that. That was never intended and hadn't noticed. But again, it's one of those things. It's a spell people don't use a ton. So trying to get those a little sexier. The total rework of Torpor is on the list, but it's not going to be for R74. And again, if I had all my time this release to work on the stuff I wanted to work on, all that stuff would have got done. Sadly, there's just been a lot of, again, crazy stuff breaking for no clear apparent reason, being hindered by Unity not working the way it should, and a bunch of other stuff. So next release, I'm sure nothing will get in my way. Honestly, though, I mentioned it once already. Having Ravalox and Elgarion on the team has been a godsend. It's been a blessing and will free up a ton of my time going forward. There's some stuff, if you notice, we haven't done a Friday email, I think 2 weeks in a row, and we're behind on vaults. And we're transitioning over. Elgarion's taking over those things. That was supposed to have been handed off, but just due to the breaks and the holidays and everybody being out, those fell through the cracks. Same thing with the vault, that we're taking care of those as well. But, and again, I'm not crying. I have allergies. My eyes are just watering. And I'm also red. Whoa. All right, we're already at 2:35. Let me give away the first prize, and then I'll put up one big prize that I'll give away towards the end of the stream, just to minimize my time wasted on prizes. So make sure you're raffled up, and here in just a minute I'll do a prize, and I'll go ahead and start shopping for my next prize. On sale items, nothing's cool enough there. Ooh. Haven't done mannequins in a while. Do. Got some water homes. Crafting pavilion's kind of cool. How about a Shogun Inn? Those are kind of nice. That's kind of a big prize. We'll do a Shogun Inn for the next one. All right, let me pick a winner here, and I'm going to reopen the giveaway after this, but I'm not going to change the name. If you've already up, you don't have to. But we'll pick a winner. Did I miss the button? I missed the button. Pick a winner. Trick Steve. You are a winner, Trick Steve. Now I just have to figure out who Trick Steve is. And I've reopened it again. That's going to be for the Shogun Inn, of course. Trick Steve is Trick Steve. All right, I'll get you in game here in a minute. Let me get back and get a few more questions off here. Another one that's concerning the House of Mangar's mentioned some concern on it is the changes coming up in the next release for some balance stuff. So there's some changes going into specific specific scenes, like having the obsidian shards appearing in upper tiers to generally slow things down and actually make you think about things is one of the big changes going in for balance, but there's going to be some that are kind of global things. One of those is to change the focus cost of stuff based on balance. I think there's been some concerns that it's going to, right now, it's not a big, it's like maybe half again focus if you have a 300 attunement. That I know that can be big. Right now, though, there's few people that run into focus problems. The thing that House of Mangar was saying that I agree with is one of the problems right now is the fire mages, they're never going to run out of focus anyways because their spells last so long. But that is one of the things that has already changed and is on the QA, was on QA for a little while before QA caught fire and burned. Oh, there's a sad child outside my door. Is the AoE spells, their duration has been dropped. Yes? You want to watch a movie? Can you wait just 20 minutes or so? Go play your game for 20 minutes, then we can watch? Maxine is sad. She's bored and wants to watch a movie. But anyway, so the change may not have been needed. Maybe it's doubled up on the changes. We will see. It's super easy to pull out. I would love to get some feedback from you guys on QA. Step one, me getting QA working again, which is why I've been working so frantically on that. And I did work on it pretty much all weekend long. And yes, Maxine is home today. She was sick on Saturday, which is I didn't make the dance party. Thanks to her being sick. She had 102 fever, but she had no fever yesterday, no fever today. So I think she's well. She's just bored. I think her mom told her she can't play any more Minecraft. Let's see. Valcor, how do we get into the QA server from Steam? I forget. There is a document out there. There's a post somewhere that tells you how to get there. But you can get into the QA server from Steam, but I would just have to go Google it. But yeah, you can get in there, and I do publish stuff to Steam every time. Elrond, King of Elves, the 70 Attune Wands. Yeah. Again, this is one of the challenges, is how to balance the attunement at high levels, at extremely high levels. There's already been a attunement curve that, it's not linear. When you double your attunement, you don't double your damage. There's already a bit of a curve on that. So that curve probably needs to be tuned. I've been taking that off a little bit at a time. It's funny because you guys will catch, like I make one change. There's some of those things where it's a power function, like power X to the Y. And I've been changing the Y and like dropping it by 0.01 occasionally. And that's one of those where I've dropped it a few times and I get busted on it. It's also one that when I drop those now, going forward, the verbose mode will call me out as to changing it. Problem is we can craft wands with 27 attune max. Yeah, and that's, again, I've already mentioned, I really, as much pushback as I get, I really want to make the change that like maybe you can only get, well, one of the changes that we've mentioned, or that's been mentioned, is why are you able to use wands in two hands? Why wands should be a primary only thing, and they have to have a secondary thing in the other hand. But that's one of those that people have just gotten so used to it, even though, again, it's silly to have two wands, one in each hand. There should be offhand sides. Hold on, I'm looking to see what Dr. L said. Dr. L, making the focus, cost, and duration proportional to the damage output. And yes, that is what I'm trying to get closer to. Actually making it something where cost focus over time is a bit more challenging, and also can be a little, I think that'll be too frustrating. Making it purely proportional is not really, it would be insanity with AoE spells. Like, you'd run yourself out of focus. But yeah, it is one of those things. AE spells should do more damage per focus than a single target spell, just because it's less controlled and has other issues with it as well, like drawing all the aggro from everything in the entire place. But yes, it should be closer to what it is, and that's kind of what I've looked at, is the damage effect, and that's part of why again, focus has gone up a little bit, but that's gone up for everything. The bigger thing for AE spells is just the duration has been shortened significantly, so they'll have to cast more. Making AoE spells channel focus, that would be, so keeping them, you have to keep on them. So that would be again, there's lots of ways to fix these things. What I'm trying to do is come up with a way to fix these things that pisses off the least number of people possible. You guys have seen in the past, we all know archers are completely broken, but there's probably 40 people who quit, long-time players who quit because I made a small change to archery a while back. And it wasn't even a change to archery, it was just a change to everything, but archers took it personally because they knew it was to slow them down. They're still broken, of course. Everybody still knows that. But it's one of those things, trying to come up with the changes that feel fair to people, that do not feel like, people don't want to see their max hits go down and stuff like that. Well, max hits for archery has to go down. But again, having guys who run out of focus, I think, that you have to manage your focus is something where, then great. Crafters will actually be happy because they sell or focus potions. Right now, there's no need for them. And that's actually a counter for the focus side of things. That's part of why I'm going that way. Your max hit's still higher. Your DPS is still the same. And the same can be true with the shortened durations. It's just you have to cast it more often. But anyways, trying to get those things down so that you still feel powerful, but it feels like you actually have to think about it to be this powerful. That's kind of the challenge that I'm trying to get at. If I do a channel so it draws focus for the duration of it, we can do that, but then it's also, that means you can only have one of them up, which again, for some specific spells, that's not a problem because you can only have one of them up at a time anyways. But does that get interrupted by other spells? Do you have to maintain it? Because that'll be a dramatic change in the way people play things. And then if you cast it and you're still channeling and you forget about it, and it's like, oh, now it's annoying because I have to go and remember to cancel it, or else I'm going to be paying for the spell that I don't want anymore because everything's been dead for 5 seconds. Again, there's no easy fixes for some of these things. I'm trying to change the ones that move the needle in the right direction for the stuff we know are problems. AoE, DPS to focus cost, and some of the super high hit single stuff. That's more of a problem for PvP. And then bringing up some of the weaker stuff. But I'm also trying to make it so if you're putting out the effort, you can still have what you had before. It's just going to require some more playing skill and maybe some other, sacrifices. It's not easy, people. Trying. Let's see. Brass Knuckles. This is one that maybe it's Brass Knuckles who keeps requesting this, but it's already been on my list. Can we get unique drops for the high tier player dungeons? Yeah, that's been on my list for a while. And that is partially because I want people to continue to farm and push stuff up to, tier 5 and tier 6 dungeons, so I can then make those like, hey, the extra reward you get if you can get a dungeon to here is you can get a drop out of it that you can only get there. Let's see. Farmers, fishers need love. Can we get farm fish skills on decks, please? Farm fish skills. That's like farm and fish skills, not for fish farming, right? I think so. Beezus has some stuff coming up. I think he has stuff coming into this release. I forget what it is, though. Again, I'm not... the days of me saying I'm not going to touch any of that stuff, because that's not my area. Those are long gone. I am willing to touch those stuff. Right now, I don't have time. I know Beezus has made some changes to it. But I am going to be working on some more crafting stuff, trying to bring some more interest to it. B is scheduled basically for a whole quarter to do nothing but kind of tune up some of that stuff. That's Q3, I believe. But yes, and I'm, by the way, our family now has a fish aquarium with a fish in it. We have Mark, Minnie, a second fish named Mark, Michaela, and I think it's Max. And then there's 3 new fish that are all, I forget what their names are, Nellie, Kelly, and Zelly. So we have 8 fish. I know you guys all care about that stuff, right? Brass Knuckles. When will player dungeons be on the leaderboards? We've got leaderboard work on the list in Q1 to add some more stuff to it. Dungeon should be on there just because, again, that's one we've promised, and it makes sense that people want to know where they can go for dungeons. Community of the Avatar. Did I miss a prize that needs to be sent out? Shakes fist at Community of the Avatar. Or you're probably telling me on the live stream. That is Elgarion, of course, trying to send out prizes. You're fine, Elgarion. I got it. I already bought them from the store. I figured you were working on stuff. And Ravlox, it's kind of been somewhat enjoyable seeing Ravlox and Elgarion both realize just like how much stuff there is to do, and there's always more stuff to do. And yes, my Skype is off, so I'm going to be wrapping up here in about 15 minutes, so don't even worry about it. I got it. I'm taking care of it. I already bought the prizes. I'll send them out here in a minute. We got Trick Steve for the oak bookshelves, and then I'll be sending out the Shogun in to whoever wins the next one. Let's see. Brass Knuckles. Apparently, I think Snugsy one must be whispering in Brass Knuckles' ears. When are the nightmares tameable? That was supposed to be this release. I don't think that happened. Actually, it may not have been listed for this release. Internally, we were wanting to do it for this release. We know that's kind of low-hanging fruit that'll make some people happy. So maybe this release, maybe that'll be a post-release thing. But right now, there's just been too many other things going on. Too much time lost. Let's see. If we get the ability to have schedules for NPCs, we can have the same for spawners. Oh, that's the question you asked earlier. Yeah, that's... And having... We could do spawns that only come up at night, too. Like bat spawners, where the bats come out, but only at night. Except... We already have bats. They're just kind of VFX versus an actual creature. Let's see. Elrond, King of Elves. Any good stuff coming for crafting in R74? There's a few things. There's, again, for shipping things, there's going to be the mail improvement that you can send 50 items in the mail at a time and put more text in the top. I know that's not crafting, but that's some of the crafters out there ship stuff around. Another one is the salvaging stuff. I put it at 50 before. I think I'm probably going to bump that up to 100 items that you'll be able to salvage 100 at a time. Again, that's one where the person who wrote it originally was very concerned about the performance of it on the server, but I've seen not a nibble, anything on it. Even if I turn up my speed, so I'm doing it 5 times as fast with 100 on the table, not even a blip on the server. Let's see. Damnite work. Damnite Ewok. Damn it Ewok. It's gotta be damn it Ewok. Can lead gauntlets be turned into weapon slot items instead? They really limit monk builds. Ooh, I'm trying to think how we would do that. Put them in a weapon slot. I guess I could put them on there and just make them like big fists, kind of like those, the green Hulk fists that you see like kids wearing or whatever, where they got like the big fists. I can just make them like that. Kind of look like big lead boxing gloves. Trying to think how I would work that. How about if I get some other stuff in there as well, and then you can combine the lead gauntlets with the other stuff. The brass knuckles. Huh? Something. Lot teleporter for R74. Yes. So I've got a whole list of lot teleporters queued up, and also lot NPC merchants that are basically the same thing as what you can get from a town, but they can go on your lot, and they do count towards your NPC total, I think, for your lot. But again, it's one of those things. It's a convenience thing. We talked it over. We didn't see any real power. I think Elgarion and Ravlox were in on that conversation. They didn't see any real problems with it. But you'll be able to get NPCs that basically, like, you have your tax-free vendor guy on your lot. You can also have some a merchant on your lot. And again, that would be mainly for your convenience, not for other people's convenience. But it does make things more flexible for your town as well. Let's see. Got House of Mangar telling me I need to look at my Twitter. And channeling. Yeah, trust me, I've considered the channeling stuff for a lot of those AE things. I just worry that it's too much of a change for how they play the game. And it also, it is a major nerf if we do that for all the guys who have that, like, Ring of Fire is obviously a problem. I'm trying to address that. Meteor Showers, less of a problem, but still a problem. Working on fixes for that as well. Super High Focus is a problem. I just worry that if we do the channeling, it really is a major change to how they play. We do have stuff that you channel, though. We already have support for that. We just, again, would be a major change. For you guys, not for me. And trying to minimize the rage on things while still addressing the problems. Strider Green, drop on Wyvern heads is still broke. They do not drop. They do drop. I think I turned them up. I forget which one. You guys had me turn up a few things I looked up, but I may have turned them up by 2 or 5 or 10. But again, they are still pretty rare. I thought they were like in the 1 to 500 range, 1 out of every 500 range before. Now they're like 1 out of 100 or something crazy. So they're still pretty rare. Let's see. Geotoreg, do you think critical damage cap could mitigate all the crit build and perfo builds? So there's going to be some damage. I'm not doing a damage cap. Don't like the caps. There will be some specific tuning to make sure that some max damage guys don't get crazy. One of the things I'm looking at is making the charging up has always been low damage, and I may turn that down to be lower damage. Like how the bonus you get from it may be lower. That's actually one of the things I'm looking at that can go right along with the focus changes. As people are concerned about focus, that I will probably be increasing the amount of focus reduction you get from stacking or charging, and decrease the amount of damage bonus that you get from that. Again, that's obviously aimed at a few specific people, but that would give the guys who want to do the focus, again, still feel powerful. You just have to work a little harder, and that's always the goal for that. Zelgatus, if you want people to use focus potions, does that mean you're going to make them worth using? Meaning you'll give them higher focus restore. Yeah, they're crazy low. I've known that for a while, but again, it's one of those things where they haven't used them. I thought about turning them up to see if people would use them. But this would also mean I'd need to get them into the ballpark for what actual players need. I forget what they max out at, but yeah, you basically, if you just take like your average focus potion, use it, like you won't even see your bar move. It's pitiful. Like your time would be better spent just standing still practically for some of you guys. So yes, I will give those an adjustment. Let me do that this release again as I try to make those meaningful, because we love consumables. There's consumables in all aspects of the game are a good thing, because they are something that is consumed, which means that people who want to use them, they can. People who want to make them, they have more to make. We want those to be powerful as well, and they currently are not powerful in any way, shape, or form. Up, focus, health, potions. Check. I'll get that in for R74. Yes, imbued focus pot, 250. Woo. Yeah, we want those to be more, especially if there's going to be focus stuff going on. So, yep, I'll get them all. I'll get all the potions. And again, maybe that'll move the Rage Needle down a little bit, as we'll see, but maybe pushing the focus change stuff a little too much. That'll actually make, and that's, again, this is one of those things that improves. We have a lot of things I'm trying to improve, and this is one that improves a lot of different categories, because it also improves the loot. You guys feel like the loot you get is crap. One of the most common things you get in loot are potions that you can use. Right now, that feels like crap because those potions are crap, and they aren't worth using. They aren't worth, like, they're not even, forget the gold value, selling them for gold or whatever. Like, you're better off selling for gold. They're not worth the time it takes to use them a lot of times. So yes, I will improve those, because then that will also improve loot, because those can also become desirable. The original Smelly, I see your question there. If QA is down much longer, I gotta get QA up somehow. I hope to have it up. We'll see. The build that's going on right now may fix it. Let me go check to see the build status. It's got, yeah, see, I moved it back to the old slow server to see if I can reproduce the same problem on the old slow server. Because I can't reproduce it when I do my builds at home on my home server. But it's got, the old slow server says it has about hour 39 minutes left on it, so I'll know. But if that fixes it, then I'm going to get those out probably tonight, and I'll just roll with that for a while. Again, my other plan is to take this build do a binary diff to the other build so I can get a what is different between A and B. Unity is supposed to do deterministic builds. It does not. So we will see what it says. But yes, if we don't get QA time back, I don't see that happening. But yes, I will hold off on some of those changes or roll them in slowly during R74 to let you guys get some feedback time. Let's see. House of Mangar Theater. How is work going on difficulty settings for zones? That is on the list. I have not got it for any of them. There will probably be a kind of a trial version of that. We have the concept of going into some of the tech that we use for things and terms we use. We have the concept of scenarios. This lets us take a scene and have some aspects, have multiple different scenarios, basically multiple different versions of it, where scenario 1 may be, everything in the scene plus this, that, and the other things, and then scenario 2 maybe this, that, and, change up a bunch of things on, change scene names, change, weather, pretty much change everything you want to in the scenarios. So that is actually what we use for player-owned towns, is everybody's player-owned town is a scene and then a scenario version of that scene. But that's using that same thing. We already have the tech we need to do different versions of. Oh, we also use this for some storyline stuff where we have different versions of the same scene depending on whether or not you're doing the quest in them. But anyways, that's what's going to be used for the difficulty of settings of scenes. There's another thing, the other big piece on that ends up being an in complexity problem of, if we want to have 5 different versions, we've got to have 5 different copies of the scene. So there's some other stuff that I'm setting up. Right now, the dungeons, you guys have seen that the dungeon using the totems in that, you can level up basically the same thing, but you level up the creatures in them depending on the totem level. So we have some of that tech that's in there. We already have that going. Looking at using that, because if not, we get into this complexity of we got to have, a ton of work done, basically trying to reduce the amount of work. So basically I'll be able to place a kobold, and then depending on the scene complexity, it'll pick it kind of like what it does for player dungeons right now. So in other words, we can do it right now, brute force, try and get it cleaner, but that is not going to be an R74 for sure. Uh-oh, Mojito's having a bad dream. Let's see. Let's see. Aaron Pope. Why do I log on with God only knows what equipped? Something broke when you added the 2 rings. Is that true? Does anyone else know what's going on with that? I mean, I'm sure something's happening with him. Yes, it's true. All right. Well, there's probably been a bug reported, and it's probably not marked as critical on me, and I'm only looking at critical. And right now, I've got stuff I'm not even looking at my bug list. All right. I'll make sure that gets fixed for the next release. My guess is that is the gear sets is not working. Yes, every time. Okay. Well, that should be good and easy to repro. I wonder why I'm not seeing that. Maybe because I didn't add the second ring. I don't have a second ring right now. Yeah, so I don't have rings on either finger. Okay, well that's probably why I haven't seen it on live. I'll fix it. Wackiness and equipment on login. Log out. I'll make sure that gets for R74. Yeah, that's probably the... Oops, wrong one. Your combat deck, what's equipped. I bet there's probably a case I'm not handling in that. I will look, though. And you can't see the ring slot on a second player. Now, that one is a little more confusing. There, now I'm naked too. Oddly, I'm naked except I kept my gloves on. Alright, well, I will get to that. That'll definitely be fixed for week from Thursday for R74. But right now, let me go and give out a few prizes and call it a day so I can go check in on the very sad little girl that you saw come in a few minutes ago and see what I can do to make her happy. Has me really looking forward to summer vacation, her being home every day. Actually, that won't be a problem because then my wife will be at work and no one will tell her she can't play Minecraft. Get her to play Shroud and report bugs for me. Do. I just saw an email from Trick Steve go by. Trick Steve. Let's see. Oh, and I'm naked, of course. Case, bookcase, shelves. Fine, there we go. Remove, no trade. Really, you're going to make me do this one at a time? What's going on there? Remove heritage? Looks like I might be getting an exception. That's no good. No? I wonder if it's because they're a container. Yeah, that's weird how they're going that. Alright, well, these are going to be no trade for you then. At least for now. Wonder if that is just for bookshelves. I'll find out in a minute. And that has been sent. Okay, let's draw the next one and I will call it a day. Get back to work on fixing some of this crap we just talked about here. You guys ready? Not next release. That's probably going to be in February, Elrond. The epic, possibly mythic, those artifacts coming soon. You guys ready? Still watching. You guys are still raffling. NBN barely got in the giveaway there. All right, you guys are all in there. Okay, here we go. Picking a winner. Bam. Phil Boswell. Ah, Lord of Honesty, Twilight Tempest. Well, if it set put that up there, you guys were in the drawing. You just didn't win because it closes it and then picks. So if you got in before it closed, and it just didn't announce it because it has like a 5-second delay on it. Steam froze for a bit, so I missed it. Or stream froze. Phil Boswell. Who are you, Phil Boswell? Are you Phil Boswell? How about Phil Space Boswell? Nope. What do I do? You got an in-game name yet? If not, I'll let you pick a friend. I would not have guessed that. Alayaul. Oop, missed an A. Where is that? There it is. Shogun in. Congo Rats. XX Killjoy, that's a good question to exit on. Now that the prizes have been sent off. But I have your attention still, hopefully, right? You're not going to totally vanish because I gave away the last prize of the day. So the goal for attenuation, our target had always been in the 1 to 2 million point range for kind of the top players, not for everybody. There's a lot of challenges with those, but the goal is to get that to be, if you play for, an hour, you get roughly 1 to 2 million. We know there's going to be some players who will exceed that amount, but we want to make it so you feel like you have to try. Right now, the problem is there's places like upper tiers that you don't have to try. I mean, like really, people can solo upper tiers, or just like two people can fight while the other guys sit around bored and idle, and people complain because they get to 2 million experience points in a matter of 10, 15 minutes, and with zero risk, and then they wander off for an hour because they don't want to have to sit around and not get experience for a while. So the goal is to make it so you will still be able to get the same experience, but you'll get it through adventuring for the full hour. You guys will definitely exceed that in this release coming up. So this will be the release where I'll go and look, because I expect there's still going to be, by the time this release goes live, I bet there'll be some scenes where people are getting 5 million an hour. But I need to start finding those guys and tracking them down and start looking at fixes. The ones we know of that are the worst are just what you already expect. Control points are by far the worst. There's been a couple of changes that have been made that will slow those down a little bit and give us more tools to slow them down. The real goal, though, is to make it so they still give good experience. 2 million experience points an hour for a good set of players, but that it's actually challenging, and you feel like there's some risk involved. So that means a lot of the creatures are getting tougher, and again, you still will get 2 million experience points per hour. Be able to get 2 million experience points per hour is my guess. Some of the changes went on for upper tiers, and I'm going to be doing similar changes for the other control points. Let's see, creatures got a little bit tougher. So one thing I noticed was the creatures they used, the guy who set it up long ago, not List, it was actually Dan. He set it up using the normal creature version. He was supposed to use, there's a control point creature version, but there weren't control point creature versions of the things he wanted for that, so he just used the normal version. So those have better loot and the same experience, or the ones that they should have more health, they should be a little bit tougher, and they should have slightly reduced loot for what they were. So I left that alone. I did not change that, but I did increase the difficulty of all the creatures of that type. So basically the baseline for liches. Liches are one of the weakest creatures in the game given their rewards. So they actually got a little more powerful in terms of being better fighting, being a little more dangerous. They're getting a few more spells that they can use on you guys. The other thing that's coming along with the upper tiers is about every other wave has an obsidian shard in it that's kind of like the Kobold device. I actually that was actually in the QA version. I forgot to check in something, so it still looked like Kobold devices. But they're in there, and they'll be slightly different. They'll be randomized for each of the rounds, so you won't know, like the 6 liches will appear. And they, depending on what obsidian shard spawns there, it'll change out. It'll be random each time. It could be that they are very magic resistant. It could be that they have extremely high regen. Could be that they have extremely high magic power or physical power. Lots of different stuff can happen. Now, of course, one of the strategies you may have to use, and this is intentional that there's a strategy for it, is you may have to drag them away from those things, from the obsidian shard, or you can focus your firepower on the obsidian shard and try to take it out quick. But again, trying to make it so you actually have to think a little bit in each one of those. But again, you guys, the goal is that you still will be able to exceed 2 million. I really don't like the artificial attunement of, I played for a while, now I can't get any benefit for a while. And also after looking at it, it really just needed a complete re-implement if it were going to stay even, as it was. So again, the goal for our 74 is going to be, attunement will be set to 5 million, and I'm going to be tracking down all the places where it's crazy experience. Again, I believe I have a pretty good idea, but I know how you guys work. I've identified 5 that are problematic. Basically control points, and like Tartarus is one of them as well. And I'll be making some balance adjustments to each of those things. The other side is I don't have to make that many balance adjustments because I'm also trying to make some of the most powerful way players play at least more challenging. Like control points are one when I was looking at the focus thing, trying to figure out how can I control this and make it feel like there's some skill involved, so that, that's another thing is like everybody, it didn't feel like there's skill involved in fighting stuff because everybody could get the exact same rewards with not that much effort. That actually came up talking to Mac about that. It was like, how did somebody pass me? It's like, well, they were getting max experience and they played more hours per day. So, there wasn't a skill element involved with it, but somebody was, putting in more hours. I'd rather it be more skill related. But anyways, so that's kind of the goal is, that's an odd shadow I cast there. That's kind of the goal for it, is to make sure that we get some more skill in there, that you guys still can do all the stuff you did before. Just try and get a little bit of challenge in there, trying to balance out a few of the peaks. I'm looking at you, fire mages and others, and then keep a much closer eye on it for the next 2 releases. Again, Art 75 is going to have the challenge dungeon, the new challenge dungeon, Solace of Balance, where I'll be taking this to the next level, because at least a couple of the rooms in the challenge dungeon are going to be wave battles. They aren't going to be endlessly repeating wave battles. They'll be one time through, one and done wave battles. But there'll be wave battles in there as well. But again, I could keep talking for hours, but I'm going to go see my little baby and remember why I work. So guys, thank you very much. Let me find somebody to raid here. I got the prizes already sent out. And, who else is streaming out there? Oh, we got a Vulcan Jedi, Z of Silverdale, House of Mangar, and Famines just went live. I don't think I've raided Z of Silverdale ever. Z, you've been a long-time supporter. You're getting my raid today. Fix crafting. Make tanks healer wanted again. I'm working on it, Crowquills. Difficult. Yeah. So when I mentioned the whole, like, getting people on board, and it's fun because they finally see, like, the million different things that to be done. Sadly, I spend all my time trying to fix the build stuff right now. But yes, there will definitely be some more Lewis stuff. I'm definitely going to expose all those things I talked about, like the vendor stuff. So you can go up to a vendor, and when you go open the vendor, it'll basically, you'll have a function that you can receive, and it'll pick up all the stuff that came from the vendor, so you can dump that out to a text file or a CSV or however you want to do it. But there's going to be some other stuff. The fixing a few more on the party stuff. My secret dream is I can get most of this stuff done, and then also get the raid party stuff done, so I can give you guys a way to compress. You can basically have a party of up to 24 people. We've got a plan for how that's going to work. It's basically going to be the UI will stay as it is up until 8 people, and then when you go beyond 8 people, it drops to the compressed version where everything's tighter together. You get fewer buff icons showing on each one. One row of buff icons, everything's a little tighter together, and it can do 12, and then it'll do 2 columns of 12. So anyways, we are about to go raid. It's forcing me. So guys, thank you so much for all your support. Thank you. Let's go raid.